Hello everyone, I'm Lynette and this is Charmed Grammy Crochet / glass. So today is going to be part 3 of the process for making stained glass projects. And I just want to do a disclaimer real quick, everyone. I am by no means a teacher for this. I am very much out of practice. And if you want to really learn to do this on your own, I strongly suggest seeking a real teacher and in person. I don't think it's something that you can't learn via YouTube, but definitely don't learn it from me, because I am very much a novice and very out of experience. I haven't done this in several years, so this is just this is what you do next kind of thing, not just informational, not educational. I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. So we made our pattern, and I know the star is not in here because I messed up, but I have an idea of where all the pieces go, and I also included on here what color each piece is. I have decided I only have the one red, so we're definitely going to do the stripes in this red because it's the only red that I have. I have washed all the glass because it has to be clean for your cutters. Then I'm going to do the other stripes in this clear. I'm going to use the light blue to surround the star, and I'm going to use this white for the star. And this is what's going to go inside inside the frame for my husband. And I decided that because the lighter colors will show the mirror, and there'll be no light coming through, so we need the light from the room to reflect off the mirror to show the brilliance of the colors. So that's why I decided to go with the lighter colors, and if I had a lighter red I would have used it as well. But I'm going to try to make two. One that's going to fit in that frame and go in front of the mirror, and then another one, and I'm going to use the darker blue and the wispy white, which are on the other side of the table, or I would show you. And I'm going to use those to make just a freestanding one that will just hang in the window. And that way the sunlight can shine through, and you'll see the darker colors will allow the sunlight to shine through. Whereas I think they won't get enough lamp light or room light to make it, to be vibrant in the frame. So that's what I decided. That's my very unprofessional opinion. So the next step that we would do after cutting out our pattern, and here are, so this is the pattern that we will build on after we have our pieces cut and foiled and ready to put together. But it's also a good idea to show you if you're sizing things properly, because this is an exact copy. So row 8 is here. This is an exact duplicate of row 8. So it should, it's going to be a little bit skinnier because we cut it out with those scissors, with the, the 3-prong scissors, so that we'd have that space for the foil in the solder to hold it together. So, but other than that, it's an exact copy. So I'm going to set this off to the side for a minute, and I've picked, well gosh, maybe I'm not using the clear glass. Oh, well, I guess that would be indication number 2 that we can't use the clear glass, this particular piece of clear glass, to make the stripes, because the glass is not as wide. Runs off the edge. Well, that's a problem. Okay, the good news is I have more clear glass, so we won't cut this one right now. And I will need to dig out another piece of clear glass that is bigger than that would hold all of these little pieces. So just chat amongst yourselves for a minute. I might just cut that on my own. Well, I will add a different piece of clear glass. But one thing I did want to say, I'll do that off camera, get a different clear glass and cut it. I'm not going to cut all the glass in this video. I'm just going to show you how to do it and cut a piece or two. But I'm just going to inform you. So the glass, like this glass, is smooth on this side. This is called seeded, I think, the style of this with the little bubbles in there. But it's got a texture on this side, and you can actually like stick your fingers in these little holes. So we wouldn't cut on this side. We would definitely cut on the back side of the glass, the smooth side. So when we would cut, we would put our piece upside down and cut it, so that way it's face up when you're done. You know what I mean? So it's like putting the wrong sides together kind of thing. So I'm not going to use this piece of glass. We will pull out something else. Let's go with some, oops, pardon me. I kind of didn't want to cut the red in on camera because I don't know if it's going to fit so well. And it's dark, so I don't know how well you'll see what's going on. But we'll give it a shot. Because the red, again, it's smoother on this side than it is on that side. This has a bunch of bumps, waves. And we want them all to go the same direction. So I'm going to look at the biggest piece that I have to see it will fit. And I could make it go either direction, but I think I want to make it go, because if you look at the water lines, they run this way, and I think I want them to run that way when I put it together. Here I'm going to put the star in the corner at the top, and then have the stripes go just like just like the American flag does. So I want these little bubbles that are in the glass. Oh, you can't even see that. Sorry. So anyway, I want the stripes to run the way the flag does under the star. So I want the little bubbles to run this direction, if that makes sense to you. So I'm going to turn the glass upside down so that the flatter texture is facing me. Then when I put my piece of pattern on here, I would also turn it upside down so that I'm cutting on the same side. Now this has a very nice straight edge, so this is going to be like a perfect spot to put this. Yeah, you can see, is right here, because I'm not going to have to cut as much, and I won't have to, less chance of breaking when you're not cutting. So what you do, the next step is that you're going to trace your pattern. And hopefully this shows up and I can see it. Yeah, not so good. But we'll do the best we can. I mean, it's a straight line, right? So I don't know, can you guys see the black? I can barely see the black, but I can see it enough. So I have this ruler, which I totally love, because look at, can you see? This is it's an 18-inch. This ruler is designed for using with glass. This cork on the back of it keeps it from sliding. So all I need to see is just like know where my line is, and I can line this up, and I will have, if I line it up straight to my edge, it'll be perfect. Then you need to use, I'm going to show you the materials that I will be using. There's a couple different kinds of glass cutters. The least expensive one I have ever seen is one like this. I think I paid like $5 for this. $3.95 to $4.95, something like that. But I've had it a long time. You can even see that it's like yellowed in the package. It's a perfectly good glass cutter. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not as comfortable as some other glass cutters, but it does have many multiple functions. The glass wheel for cutting is up here. This helps break the glass. This helps break the glass. So it's a nice tool to have. It's just not my favorite. Then you have one that you hold as a pencil. This one is my newest cutter, and you're supposed to hold this. Don't drop it over your glass. That would be bad. You're supposed to hold it like this, like a pencil. It was never my favorite. I paid, I'm going to think $45 for this cutter. It's got a rough grip on it, and I think I never liked that so much. This is my favorite one, and I think I paid about $30 for this. Now, mind you, these are all old. I've had them all for, I think this one I've had less than 8 years, but all of these others I've had more than that. So this is the wheel that you cut with right here. And it's not going to cut you. It's just a piece of metal, I think. I don't know. And what's inside here is called cutter oil. And this one is self-oiling. This one I have to dip in oil. And I have a jar with a rag in it that's soaked in cutter oil. I don't know why they call this a cutter, because it really does not cut. It only scores the wood, or the metal, or the glass. It will just make a little line in your glass, and it does not go all the way through. You do not actually cut the glass. So I'm going to move this over so maybe you can see a little better, and maybe I can. I always try to wear protective glasses. I wear glasses as a general rule, so that works out very well. You want this to be lined up straight, and at this angle, I think I have my line right, but I'm not 100. Nope, I'm way off. Ooh, buddy. Okay. I thought I saw the black line. Okay, we're going to cut it there. I think that's good. Let's move this out of the way. It's also advantageous to write the number of your piece. This is piece number 9, and I marked it that it's red. That's what the R is for. So all you do is just, you can't see my whole thing, but you hear that noise? That's scoring the glass. That's all the cutter does, is score the glass. Now, the nice thing about my cutter, with it being self-oiling, you can see there's a, maybe you can't, I don't know, but there's a little line of oil as the cutter runs down there. It puts the right amount of oil to make everything run really nice. Sometimes people will dip this right in like a little tub of oil. If you do that, then you might have too much oil. I don't know, makes a mess. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually crack the glass, and I'm going to use these. This is called running pliers. I think there's another name for it, but I don't remember what that name is. And they have this little rubber tip, and this thing here adjusts to how much space. I never have it where it stops. It just stops at the rubber grips here. And these grips apparently are replaceable. Mine are looking pretty shoddy, but they still work. There's also another kind of pliers that you can use. These are breaking pliers. I don't like to use these. They tend to make a big mess. And I have another pair of pliers. Here we go. These ones, and they have grips in them. And these help, you can break the glass with them, and then you can also break off little chunks. I can't remember what those are called either. Those are scary to use, and I use them, if I use them, I use them over the garbage can, because that's when you're breaking off little chunks. So what I'm going to do, oh, I don't know if you can see this. Okay, you can see now. So there's a line here on the glass that I scored with my cutter. And there's a line on here, if you can see that little line there. I'm going to line the line on the pliers up to the line that I scored, and I'm just going to press them down. And now you have a piece of broken glass. It's very sharp, so you don't want to, and I would normally, like, now I could put the next one, the next one, the next one. If someone is really good, or just much better than I am, and much more practiced, they would just line these up and have them marked. You know, they'd have it and just and break them all at one time. That's what a person that is much more experienced than I would do. And since I'm so out of practice, I'm definitely not going to do that. And you can draw on your glass all of your pieces at one time and you know, with practice, cut them all out at the same time. So you're only breaking, you know, like you're drawing once and then you're breaking once and then you're foiling once, and do it in that manner. But for our purposes, I'm definitely not doing that. And for my own purposes, I'm not that good anymore. Now I can see the little line that I drew on here. So I'm going to cut this piece. Now I can see the line. I don't know if you guys can, probably not, because this glass is dark. So I'll do it on a lighter piece. And I'm just going to, again, you want to hear that noise. If you hear that little scratching kind of sound, that means you're doing good. Now these might not break this because it's so tiny. But they did. Now I'm not going to save that. Well, actually, I usually would actually save that little piece, because if you do mosaics or anything, this is kind of the size you want for a lot of pieces. So I do have a box of little tiny pieces. Now you see there's this little lip that didn't break really well. And you can use these and like use them as a snipper. And this is why I like to do this over the, yeah, I'm like, I hate doing this. But you can use these as like a little snipper and kind of chunk it off like that. I'm not real aggressive. People that, like I said, I used to be much more aggressive with these, and I would always do it over the garbage can. But you can make it like smoother just with these breakers. I don't know what they're called. Like that. There we go. So now it's like almost perfect. And you can use it just like this. I will grind the sides of it. Oh, you can't. Can you see? Am I showing you? I'm not even showing you. Okay. See, I did get the edge. So it's like pretty much straight. No, that's pretty solid. It's pretty good, and it will probably work. But I will, myself, I will grind it. There's a little bit of a sharp edge here that I'm going to want to get off of there. And if you look here, okay, this was piece number 9. And it actually goes this way. So can you see that it fits like pretty good right there? Now I have to cut this side, obviously. And I had to turn it over to be on the right side. So let's cut that other side and see how well we do there. If I can see it, yeah. Yep, I see it. Now, this is the big, huge issue. See these little tiny, I don't know if you can see, little tiny red pieces? You cannot have that under your glass. I have somewhere that I cannot find a really nice brush. But I cannot find that really nice brush. So we're just going to wipe it down with a towel. And I always have a garbage can close by. On this little tiny piece, it probably would have been fine. But, you know, like I said, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm not taking any chances. Let's see. I love that sound. And you can break it just with your fingers. Pray I don't cut myself. Yay! Good job. Very proud of myself for that. So now let's try it again. Turn it over, put it the right direction. Is that the right direction? Yep. And it is space number 9. And how do we do? I think I need to trim it. Yeah. I need to trim an end. Okay, we can do that. I guess I didn't see my line as good as I thought. So I can trim or I can grind. We'll try a trim just to be... just for a little practice. We'll try a little trim. Come on. You cannot rescore. Once you score it, it's done. Now for this, I'm going to need to break it with these, because that other thing is just not going to do a good job. Oh, can you see? See, it just kind of chunks it off. Now I got a lot of little reds that got to get out of the way. And because those will break anything. If you have a messy work table, little shards of glass under a big piece of glass will give it an odd surface to lay on, and it will break your big piece. And if you break a big piece, you're out of luck. It sucks. So, Now this piece is going to be pretty good to go for space number 9. Like I said, I will grind the edge. It doesn't have to fit exactly perfect, because I am going to grind the edges down a little bit. And I have to mark it as a number 9. I know that's not going to show up very well. I need probably a white marker that I do not have here. So I'm going to put this on top of it. Now, normally speaking, I would have this on the other side of the table, which is where I do my soldering, and so I would just have them lined up. Now, the next piece would be a clear piece on either side, and I have to go digging for clear glass, so we're not going to cut that right now. But I'm going to set this aside, and I will cut some more glass for you, just so you can see something else being cut. Let's try some blue, because I have a curved edge here. Now this glass too has a wavy side and a not wavy side. I washed it and that piece was still a little wet. And there's a little flaw there, so that's alright though. And I don't think I'm going to care which direction, because it's going to be circular with the star inside, so I don't know that I really am going to care too much what direction they go in. Maybe I will, I don't know. So I'm not real sure where they're going to go actually in the pattern, because I didn't do that very well. So this 24 would be up in the corner, like if it goes this way. So if we wanted to try to keep the glass, anytime you can line your patterns up with a straight edge on a straight edge is a plus. Oh, 28 is white. Oh, okay, yeah. Put it in the wrong section. So, and you always want to maximize the amount of, like these you could almost put together, but you can't. But just like yarn, you want to try to maximize the amount of cuts, pieces that you can get per cut. Now that ain't gonna work so well either. I think these still need to go this direction. And that's not gonna work out. Okay, let's just do this one and then we'll play with these other ones in a minute. So I'm going to start in the corner, line that edge up really nice, and you'll be able to see this better. That's why I wanted to do the clear glass first. So this one is number 24. And I don't think I'm not going to get 3 out of that either way. This one is even bigger. So let's do that. Because inevitably when I cut this, it's going to break all the way down here, you see? So I can't put something that's going to go in that path and make it too skinny. The other option, which is not a bad option actually. Oh, shoot. The good news is you can always erase. There you go. So this one is number 20. So we have these two. So I can always break the glass here and give myself another straight edge that I can take those others out of. And I think that's what I'll do first. So let's get this other piece out of the way. I always like to cut against a straight edge. It just makes it easier for me. And if I line up a straight edge against a straight edge, because the glass will, when you're doing straight, the glass will break straight for the most part. You can cut curves, which you'll be seeing here in a minute. But I'm just going to take my cutter, run it along there. I didn't quite go off the edge, so we'll see how funny it breaks at the back. So now I'm just going to line this up. You got to give yourself, I kind of want it to be, we already made space for the foil to come through, so I don't want to make it too big. So you kind of like got to be right on the line, and yet your cutter, your wheel is a little bit in, so you have to like figure where your wheel is going on the actual line of where you're cutting and allow space. So you're going to cut like that, and then I'm going to do this one. You don't have to have a straight edge, but when I'm cutting a straight line, I really like it. Again, if I was on my game real well, I wouldn't be using the straight edge all the time. So now comes the tricky part. Now I actually have to cut this along the black line freehand, which is a little more difficult for me. So this is where these pliers come in really nice, because you can break along this edge. Now see, it's a little bit funky right here, but the grinder will take care of that, so I'm not worried about it. And we'll put that for our scraps. Now I'm not going to use my fingers because that would be stupid. I'm going to push this out of the way for a minute, and I'll get the garbage can out in a second after we cut this. And now we're going to do the same thing here. Start as close to the edge as you can, and you want to cut along the line. And my cutter, oh, there it goes. Give me the sound, give me the sound. And cross your fingers, the moment of truth. You can always go from both sides if it doesn't want to break the first time. Ta-da! Yay! So now you've seen how it goes. Then, wait, let me clear off the glass shards. I do get anal about that because I don't want them in my fingers, on top of the fact that I don't want them to break my glass. So if we pull our pattern back out, 24 is going to go here. Wait, you put the right side up, bumpy side up. Okay, now the number is backwards, but that's okay. 24 is going to go in this area. 20 is going to go in this area. And number 25, that's going to be white, will fit in here. Let's cut that just to see, so you guys can see what it looks like. Oh, and our 9 red is going to lay here, like so. So let's try one piece of white and see how it goes. Let's try this little 25 in our white. Now this is texture on both sides. I'm going to want to go with the smoothest side, which is going to be this side, I think. Let's see, let's put these with the blue. These white ones. Okay, so the longest one is there. Let's give it to about here and cut this. Again, you like to maximize your glass. Can't see the line. So I am cutting on the back side. The bumpy side is usually the front side of your glass. Yeah. Stay put. Ah, it's also slippery. Okay, that is 27. I hope that's the one we needed. No, we needed 25. Of course. Okay, well, let's cut this one, and then we'll cut 25. I guess I could draw 25 on here for you, too. It's not going to line up to be anything. Oh, maybe. It's just more cuts. Either way, so... And this one is 25. So my, obviously, we're not going to talk about this, but my star is not perfect. Or else all 5 of these points would be the same. So let's see how we do here. I don't know about you, but this gives me a lot of shadows. Ah, stay put. Oh man, that went way wonky. In the ditch. It's the problem with really bumpy glass. Let's see how it breaks. Cross your fingers. We always like to do a little cross your fingers on this one. Oh, come on. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Okay, that's 27. I was afraid of how this one would break because it went into a ditch there really bad. I'd have scored them all and cut them all at the same time, but I was afraid this one was going to break. Cockeyed. Which does happen once in a while. Really helps if you have these the right direction.